Hi guys, how's it going? It's me, Tong Hang the BOTCH. So today I'm gonna make a video of me talking shit. And I think it's been a while since I last did something similar. And to help me with that, I have here with me a bottle of cheap wine. I bought it yesterday, or maybe you can call it today, whatever. I bought it like 6 hours ago. So let me open it first. Now, honestly, I don't really drink. I don't really drink a lot for now, but today is like a special occasion, so I will be opening this one, and but it's actually cheap. It's not some fancy wine or whatever. It's only cost me like $3 for this small bottle, and I think it would do. I used to just buy this one. I mean, I used to just buy this one back in the days when I was in Danny or some shit, and it's because it's have like this cap. It doesn't have the cork or stuff, which requires the whatever the tool to open it. So this is very handy. I can just buy this one and then open it and then drink and then ride around the city enjoying my DUI experience. Yeah. So honestly, for alcohol, I just want to drink it straight and often on empty stomach, because I love the effect that the alcohol gives. But yeah, I'm feeling it now after just one sip. So honestly, I used to drink quite often. It only stopped like 6 months ago. So basically, like from the second year in college, I started drinking in my second year in college, and yeah, that whole drinking thing is last for like 10 years. It's only, stopped like recently. So for the past 6 months, I didn't really drink and almost didn't drink like at all. No drinking, no smoking, no drugs, no whatever. I was just going out eating, and drinking water and maybe some, I don't know, other beverages, but no alcohol. Very rarely, only on like two occasions or some shit when the place where I'm, you know, working for, they have like a birthday party or some shit, so they got a party, and then I went there and I did do drink quite a lot that day. It's just for fun for the day, for the night, and that was it. But for the past 6 months, almost no drinking, no smoking, no drugs. And I mean, I've been pretty clean for the past 6 months, and I kind of enjoyed it because sobriety, it gives me some sort of clarity. Because honestly, like before this, I did have a little bit of a relationship with some vegetable, and by vegetable, I mean it. So I was just smoking that herb for like 3 years, almost every day, and actually, it was a pretty wayward time in my life. Now looking back, yeah, I'm glad that I survived that shit. It did put me into some very difficult situation that I'm now still trying to overcome. But anyway, it's good that I'm no longer, like smoking that shit, and yeah, and not, like some hardcore stuff, but it's still very troubling. Because at first it didn't seem that I'm gonna get, like, in love with it or some shit like that. But then later on, it became like a habit, and I just kept doing that shit. And together, I mean, when I did that shit, I didn't do it just, I didn't just smoke it, but I also drank alcohol a lot, and also I ate a lot, so I kind of gained weight uncontrollably, and that lasts for 3 years. I mean, from early on, I didn't notice that there was a problem, and I didn't even go to a hospital. to talk to about my situation. I think that there was something going on with my smoking of the herb, but they didn't really like give me like a solution. It was just like generic advice. Okay, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and they gave me some like sleeping pills, and that was it. It didn't really help, and I mean, the prescribed sleeping pills, they're so fucking strong, just like half a pill, it can just make me delirious for I don't know 8 hours or some shit. So I didn't really like it because I didn't really like taking any medication and stuff because I'm kind of allergic to hospital. I don't like hospital. I don't like go to the hospital. I don't want to see a doctor or some shit like that. But honestly, I do think that I am kind of a hypochondriac, just like my mom. Maybe I inherited it from her or something. So yeah, I do worry. I mean, not really, but whenever I notice that there's something wrong with my body, it just makes me crazy. And honestly, like a month or two ago, I started to notice that there was something not really right going on with my body. But hopefully, it's just something benign. I haven't seen a doctor yet. But yeah, I think there's something going on. Maybe I will have to see a doctor, maybe in a month or two. I'm not sure yet, but long story short, I 2 months ago I started to notice that there's like a little lump in a very delicate part of my body. I don't know exactly what it is, but I do have a theory of what it is, but I don't really know because I don't have the medical knowledge and whatnot. But that's just the situation. So I did try to do something to alleviate the symptom. Actually, there are no symptom because there's no pain like or whatever like at all. Yeah, but it's just there like a little something there, and it did get smaller after I did certain things, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be benign or, but I think it's gonna be benign. I mean, I just have to be positive about it, having a positive outlook to life and stuff. So, this is some recent update about what's going on with my life. And yeah, hypochondriac, a little paranoid about my house and stuff. I mean, most of the time, I don't really pay attention to, no. I mean, like, I don't like going to see a doctor and, ask them for their opinion and stuff about my body and my health because I think I'm aware of what's going on with my body. If I feel not very, like good for the day, or if I feel uneasy in my stomach and stuff, then I have to do some adjustment with my eating and stuff like that. And I do love, like having like turmeric drinks and because I think it helps me with my digestion and everything down here in the stomach. And yeah, I do believe that you are what you eat, or maybe you are not exactly what you eat because the cows they eat vegetables, but they are full of meat in their body. So you are not exactly meat and muscle in their body. So it's not exactly what you are not exactly what you eat, but it's important that you are taking in good food and listen to both your body and do some certain adjustments when necessary. That's just what I think is important, and I always try, not really like try, but I am always, try to manage my life in a way that could allow me to be well versed with my body, and yeah, that's it. I do have a cat, a Pussy. I just bought a Pussy for like 300K Vietnamese dong, which is like $12. Oh no, actually I only bought it for 200K, and that is $8 for the Pussy. It could be like cheaper. I don't know, but I just paid it. So Yeah, they were selling it for 300K. I bargained it out to 200K, and then I bought it. I used to have a few other cats, but I just, you know, because I couldn't really like, take care of them for a long period of time, so I brought it back to my family, and then they don't want to keep cats, so they just, give the cats to somebody. I don't know. I don't even give a fuck. And whenever that happened, I'll just, buy a new one or whatever. Anyway, we are giving them a chance to live on this earth, and I think that's a good thing. I'm not even sure if the mic is on, but hopefully it's on because I've been rambling for like the past 11 minutes, and it would be so terrible if it didn't catch my voice or whatever. So yeah, this is about it. I mean, I'm feeling a little bit hot. So yeah, so maybe let's make this video like in my hello video to the world out there, because honestly, I don't really socialize a lot. Okay, so again, my name is Tang, Tung, and I'm a Vietnamese living in Vietnam. So I'm over 30, 32. Yeah, 32. In a month, I'll be full 32 years old. And well, yeah, Vietnamese living in Vietnam. I did have some experience abroad, and that is Japan. I went there for college. I mean, I graduated high school here. From I graduated high school here in Vietnam, and then I went to college, Japan for college. And then I worked after college. I worked there for I think a year and a half or some shit like that, and then I got back to Vietnam, and ever since I've been just here, And let's talk a little bit about my Japan experience and whatever. So yeah, I went there for college because they gave me scholarship to go to college over there, and it was like an international school, whatever the fuck. So they got like courses in English and stuff like that. And well, let's talk about me going to Japan. It was not my first choice first because, first I wanted to go to America for college, but it was so competitive at the time. The tuition was like absurdly expensive. Back in, I mean, like 15 years ago, it was like already 40K or some shit a year for private college, and I mean colleges in America. Of course, like middle class Vietnamese like could never afford that. Only like very rich family could afford that. Could afford to send their kids to America, and shit like that. Even when you got like some scholarship or so, it's still like a big financial burden to send a kid over to America or the UK or some other European countries for college. I think the most two expensive countries for education are America and the UK, maybe Australia and some shit, but I don't really know. But anyway, they're just absurdly like expensive to go there. So basically, well, yeah. So I went to like to I think what they call one of the best high schools in this country, and but the thing is, I didn't really like excel academically because honestly, I never liked school. I hate school. I never get on well with my teachers, the school stuff, and them teacher pets and stuff like that. I just hated them. I still do hate them. Or maybe I don't hate them now, but I hated them back then. Now they're just irrelevant because anyway, I don't have to go to school no more. I'm just working, you know. So I went to that fucking high school. I got some drama going on over there from, maybe not day one, but maybe in the second month. When I was there, I got into a little drama with some, school lovers, whatever, cheerleaders over there. So they got like an online forum for all the students and alumni to get on, and opening new threads, having discussion and stuff. It was very popular back in the day, when we didn't, we had Facebook. I think when I got to like 10th or 11th grade, Facebook started to become very popular. But anyway, like online forums was also a thing back in the day. And yeah, I went on that fucking forum and I just commented that, oh, the school is you know is only well known for its name, but the teaching quality, the education is just like shit. There ain't nothing new, nothing different from a public high school, except like heavier, maybe workload and stuff like that. So after me, making the comment, a few students, maybe bullies or whatever, I don't know, I don't really know. Some bullies, they came over to me and they tried to threaten me physically. They tried to put on me some physical threat and, like kind of made me shut up. And anyway, in order to survive for the last 3 years, you know, in that school, I didn't have to shut up, but to me, they're just like garbage, some scumbags, very mediocre motherfuckers. Anyway, school is also a place where you gotta play politics a little. You gotta play the political game a little over there. So, because I still wanted to graduate high school and get the fuck out of Vietnam at the time. So yeah, I just shut up and continue with my study. I did try to study English quite a lot when I was in high school. Yeah, I think I mostly I just studied English. And yeah, and it was just self-studying, trying to do some preparations for some English tests like the TOEFL, and I also took the SAT. My score was okay, not bad, but not good either. But it was just not enough to land me like a full ride scholarship or some shit like that to go to America for college. So I got to figure out some other different ways to get the fuck out of Vietnam at the time, because honestly at the time I was so disappointed and disillusioned with the education system in Vietnam. I just wanted to get the fuck out, and that's exactly what I did. So when it was not really feasible to go to America, when the prospect was deemed, I went on to apply for college in Japan, for that school in Japan, and it only took me like one day or maybe two to finish the whole application package for the school, and then they gave me the full scholarship. I mean, that was just for tuition, but that's like the most they would give. So I got, like the 100% tuition reduction scholarship and whatever for that school. So I went there. So I decided to go because at the time I was so fed up with it now. And the thing is, I didn't take the university entrance exam in Vietnam, so it was impossible for me to, and I think it was just not possible for me to pass that test. But I didn't really study anything in high school except English, before the test, it's kind of difficult because you gotta learn math and some other subjects like physics and chemistry and stuff like that. But I didn't really learn any of that, so it would be like almost impossible for me to pass the entrance exam test. And even if I had passed it, it would have just led me, into some very kind of mediocre university. Back in the day, prestige was still important to me. I wanted to go to a good school, So, but now it doesn't matter like at all. I think now education is scam, and it doesn't matter where it goes. What really matters is, your own internal capability or whatever. So that's the story about it. And then I went to Japan, and now it's time to talk about Japan. Honestly, I hated Japan. Japan, fake. The people are so fake. The Japanese so fake. They think they're superiors to other Asians and stuff like that. Well, actually, their economy is one of the most advanced in the world. And in Asia, they are like the top, whatever. So I mean, so far, I think compared to the Korean, the Japanese is still like digestible. The Korean, they are just like blatantly cocky and looking down on other Asians. They think they're the best, and I don't know. I just have that aversions to them Koreans. They're way too cocky. They look down at the Asians. They think they're the best, and they only want to mingle with the Westerners. They don't want to mingle with them, lowly Southeast Asians like us, Vietnamese. They even hate the Chinese. I think they hate the Japanese too because the Japanese, they used to be like richer than them. You know. Anyway, Korea is not South Korean. I'm talking specifically about them South Koreans. I think there's something with the K-pop and stuff. Oh, I don't like it. Yes, the Japanese, they are not overtly, you know, expressing their superiority towards other Asian, but deep down, I do notice that they think they're better than other Asians and stuff like that. They think they are very cultured people, better than others, and I'm just not very used to their manners, being super polite, bowing and stuff like that. That's just to me. And but still, uh, I mean, I would not be able to, finish all this because when I talk, I start to remember something else, And there was that actually. Okay, let's continue with the conversation. Okay, so there was that one time when I was in my second year in college. I did try to drop out, so I bought a one-way ticket to Ho Chi Minh City or Saigon. It's a city in the south of Vietnam. I bought a one-way ticket there, hoping that I would be able to escape this whole shit in Japan. But it didn't work out. It only took me like 2 weeks to go, back to Japan to continue with my study. But I will talk about that episode later when I have the time or when I want to talk about it, but not the topic of today. So anyway, I was in Japan for almost 6 years. So college and then work, and then I was working for like fucking. I mean, this was not a very bad Japanese company, but I was just not very into it. So it was like a company that sells SIM card to foreigners who just got to Japan. So when they first got to Japan, everything is like very challenging for the foreigners because they don't really speak the language. Because anyway, Japanese is a hard language to master, and even if you master it, you are still an outsider to the Japanese. Except you got to Japan from an early age and you adopt all their language and manners and customs and stuff like that, then maybe you will pass as a native real Japanese. But if you got there later on and you start to learn the language later on, it's very hard to like integrate yourself into the society as a real Japanese and such like that. And I didn't even want to become a real Japanese or anything like that. I was just like setting my boundaries from day one. That I'm not into this culture, this is bullshit and stuff like that. So I gotta keep myself intact, from all the influence. But some people, they are so into anime, the Japanese way of thinking, reasoning, behaving. So they go to Japan and they want to be a Japanese, but I don't think they will ever succeed. That's just what it is. So my episode in Japan, it ended in January 19th, 29. Yeah, January 19th, 2019. So yeah, after working with a job company, I ended with them. I kind of quit, and before going back to to Vietnam, I did cancel my visa, even though there was still a year left on the visa. That is to make a statement that no, I'm never go back to this shitland. Well, maybe for traveling, yes, but for work and live there, no. And yeah, so I went back to Vietnam, and I was staying with my family for a year or so in Hanoi, and after that, I went to Saigon. So Vietnam is like a country with an S shape, and up north, and the two biggest cities are Hanoi up north, and then we have Saigon, what they call Ho Chi Minh City now in the south. So my family is in Hanoi. I went there, lived there, I don't know, 6 months or some shit, almost a year. And then I moved to Ho Chi Minh City, and then in Ho Chi Minh City, I was just doing various jobs. I was an interpreter. I was a salesperson for a Japanese company, and then like a project coordinator. That's what they call it, for another Japanese company. Before I left the city. Saigon was fun. The people live there, and there are a lot of like marrieds to living there. But I left just because I realized that the economy was going down. Like a lot of shops closed, and even after COVID, it doesn't seem to revitalize. A lot of shops still closed, and there, I think even more closing now. So I think the economy is not real good, even now after 2 or 3 years. I mean, 2 or 3 years after COVID. Yeah. So that was it, and I don't know. Now I don't like Hanoi. I really hate that city. I mean, I never liked that city, even though my family is there. They enjoy being there, but I don't. It's so. I mean, the city is, the urban planning is so bad, and it's like rigged with interest group and stuff. Those who are doing real estate, so now they're just building, skyscrapers on like apartment high-rise buildings like crazy, and the roads cannot accommodate all, like new, people coming in from other provinces. So traffic jam is like a daily thing. It's really bad. I mean, back in the day, we had traffic jam. It was better, but now it's just like a daily thing. Things that people have to accept if they want to live in that city. And it was just horrible. I didn't even want to go out when I go to Hanoi, because the air quality is so bad, the traffic is so bad, and I hate the people there. Yeah, I hate the Vietnamese people in Hanoi. They think they're superior to people from other provinces and shit, and that's just their bullshit. Actually, most of them are just like very uneducated and ruthless, and they just think they are better than others, while they are actually not. They think they are cultured, cultivated, the noble of the Vietnamese. Who the fuck? They're just like some cheap, crazy people, paranoid by their past. So that's it. So because I didn't really want to live in Hanoi, so I left Ho Chi Minh City and lived at my place for a while, and then I got a job to move to Da Nang. So Da Nang is like in the center of Vietnam. So I went to Da Nang, but the thing is, it only lasts for a month there. So there was a little bit of drama with the bitch HR manager there. So let me tell you about that story. So basically, after going back to Hanoi, I did an interview online, and I got a job offer for an IT company based in Da Nang, the city in the center of Vietnam, and for a like project coordinator again position, because I did have some experience working for a like a Japanese company before that, also IT company before that. So I was suited for that job, and I was able to speak English, and also I was able to speak Japanese. Even though my Japanese, I think, is not as my English, but still, it's not bad for the Vietnamese here, I guess. So yeah, so I took that job offer, and then I went to the city of Da Nang. It's like a coastal city, very famous for tourism and stuff. And yeah, I started working for the company, but it didn't last long. It lasted for only 2 or 3 weeks because actually me and the HR manager bitch, we went to the same high school. And before that, I did make like a video, bashing that fucking school, and I uploaded it on YouTube, and it did receive some traction and stuff from the kids at the school. And for some reason, I know the reason, I don't want to explain it here, but for some reason, that bitch knew about that video, and all of a sudden her attitude towards me changed, and she reported everything to the manager and stuff, and asking me. She didn't even talk to me personally. She was just like writing a letter or some shit to send to the manager, and the manager. I mean, and like making some. I don't know what they're talking about, but asking me to like put out that video. But of course, bitch, I'm not gonna do that. So I didn't put out the video. I still kept it on, and I quit. And before quitting, I just sent an email to the manager saying that I was totally okay and happy with the working environment here. I love my colleagues and stuff. Actually, I got introduced to that company by one of my friends back in college, and yeah, I think we are still okay friends. And yeah, so that bitch, she reported to the manager, and trying to make me put out that video. And the thing is, I was still in probation, and I didn't even want to be there. I mean, fuck it, I really hate office work and stuff. So yeah, I just wrote a letter to the manager. Okay, I'm totally okay. I quit, and I'm not gonna put that fucking video down, And I also promised them not to bash that company online or publicly. I never mentioned his name in any of my post video or anything like that. I don't care. It just felt so cheap to me, their behavior. I mean, that bitch behavior. I don't mind other people. I was totally okay with other people, but that bitch elite, people at that school, they are just paranoid about their school. They think that they're the best, so prestigious. My high school, blah blah blah, stuff like that. Whatever, fuck. So I still keep my video on. Actually, on this channel, yeah, you scroll down, you try to search for my most viewed video. I think it's still that fucking video. So that's it. And then after the episode, and then I started moving around Vietnam for a little bit, doing some interpretation work. I went to a factory in a province near Da Nang, and then I moved way up north for another factory, and I was there for like a few months. So basically, it allowed me to see different parts of Vietnam a little bit, and then I got back to Hanoi, and then after Hanoi, I moved to Hai Phong. Hai Phong is also in the north of Vietnam. It's a coastal city, and before going to this city, I didn't really know much about it. This city is just like known for, the gangsters and stuff like that. It's known in Vietnam for is gangsters. I don't want to say criminal activities, but gangsters, yes. So the gangster from Hai Phong, pretty, well known, established in Vietnam. So that's it. So, and now I'm still here in Hai Phong, living in my little rented, studio room or apartment, whatever you want to call it, but actually it's cheap. And I think I really love Hai Phong, because it's still close to my family. When I live here, I can just travel back and forth between here and my home back in Hanoi, because it's all It only takes like 2 hours, by bus to go to Hanoi. It's pretty fast because they got a kind of decent, like highway built. Like 10 years ago or some shit, and it allows people between the two cities to, going back and forth very easily. And yeah, Haiphong is, I think, is the third biggest city in the country. So we got Hanoi, we got Ho Chi Minh City, and then we got Haiphong and some other cities. So this city has, I think, 3 million people or something like that. And yeah, I've been here since June last year. So after I finished working for a factory up north, I went to Hanoi, and then I just moved straight to Haiphong because I don't want to stay home. I don't like my sister-in-law. I hate that bitch. Yeah. So yeah, I've been living here for more than half a year, and I think I pretty enjoy it, because it's very affordable in this city. I'm renting this place for only 3 million Vietnamese now, which is like $125, and I think that's cheap. That's very cheap. Not maybe not cheap for people here, because I think the salary here is not very high compared to that in Haiphong, but for me, I think it's very much reasonable, price for the rent. And yeah, so that's 3 million plus the utilities, maybe 3 million and a half, and that would be how much? 140 dollars a month for housing and utilities, and I think that's very reasonable. Yeah, because in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, the rent is a lot more expensive, and the quality of living maybe it's not even that good. And also, yeah, and so Haiphong is yeah, it's in the coast. It's a coastal city. It's known for a port. So basically, there are a lot of container trucks and stuff going around. But I mean, in the inner city, they're not going in the inner city. But if you go to the ring road or so, you'll be able to see a lot, transportation going on. And yeah, I mean, I kind of enjoy the food here. It's really something that I would eat on a daily basis. I mean, you can just eat out because it's cheap. Actually, it's cheap. It's cheap, and it's also tasty. It's something that I like. Okay, I don't want to say cuisine. Let's say it's just food. The food here is lovely, and it's affordable. So basically, yeah, I think regarding affordability, I found, very good, and very livable, and I would totally recommend it to people who don't have to go up to an office or work from home. They try out this city one time to see what it's like, to see whether they enjoy it and want to settle down in the city or not. For me, I don't think that I'm gonna ever settle down in any place, because I still want to go elsewhere, maybe Taiwan or some shit like that. But I'm planning, but I don't know when it's gonna actualize. But this is just planning stage. Even though I'm terrible at planning, my plans never came true, I think. So yeah, that's like about it. And because now I'm just doing some, my job doesn't require me to go to an office, so I'm just working from home. I didn't have to go out. I don't have to go out. And I'm also, taking some part-time English teaching job for a local Vietnamese, like English center or some shit like that. And it's only like two 2-hour sessions a week, so that's it. So, and honestly, in Vietnam now they are not learning English; they're just doing like test preps for a fucking test called IELTS. I don't want to even mention the test. I just want to live it out of my vocabulary. Yeah. So. Okay, I don't even know what I can talk more about myself. Of course, there is still something. there's still many things about a person in here in this game lifestyle, but certain things are meant to be kept private. I'll be shared between close friends and family, but not to the world. But certainly, I think I'm a pretty open-minded and sharing a person. And yeah, that's it for today. I think I've been rambling for the past 40 minutes, and that's quite a lot. So it's time to put an end to this video, and bye guys.